Good afternoon and welcome to the AEOREMA Communications PLC investor presentation. Throughout this recorded presentation, investors will be in listen-only mode. Questions are encouraged and can be submitted at any time by the Q&A tab situated in the right-hand corner of your screen. Just simply type in your questions and press send. The company may not be in a position to answer every question it receives in the meeting itself. However, the company can review all the questions submitted today and publish responses where it is appropriate to do so. Before we begin, I'd like to submit the following poll. Now I'd like to hand you over to CEO Steve Quirk. Good afternoon to you, sir.
Hi, thanks, Ali, and good to be back. I think this is my third time. Obviously, I'm excited to be back. Got another presentation. It'll be a mixture of stuff for people who don't know AEOREMA that well, but also an update for some of our lower followers to kind of tell them about the progress we're making. For those who don't know us and for our loyal supporters that do, AEOREMA Communications is a global award-winning strategic communications group. I'll explain what that means later on. Offices London, New York and Amsterdam. We're about 70 strong at the moment and over 60 years of combined management experience in the team. I am the CEO, proud to be the CEO, and I have been leading agencies for the last 40 years. I actually started my first agency at the tender age of 21 and have worked with major brands. No doubt I can share some of that experience later. So, what do we actually do? If you can run the video, Ali. We connect brands with an audience. It's a lot of different kind of opportunities and projects. So basically, if you have a brand, they want to connect to an audience in that live space. So if you're a conference or an exhibition or a brand experience, a presentation, that is what we do. That is a mixture of great creative, strong strategic insights, brilliant delivery and logistics. And we work across the globe for many brands, and I'll give you some color on that in my presentation later on. I'll give you an update on where we're progressing in the US. Next slide, please. So here's our share price. This shows our trend, which is upwards. We've had a little bump in the road in our last interims, and I'll give you some color around that. But the investment case is still just as strong. We are profitable. We are still growing. We generate cash and are cash positive. We do pay dividends and we'll continue to pay a dividend policy. Have a strong team. We believe we are market leading. We had a great win this morning. Award winning being part of our kind of DNA and net zero commitment, which is quite important for a lot of our clients. We do have two kind of brands that operate in our space. So we've got Cheerful 21st, which is probably the larger entity, which is our brand experience division, and as I've described, connects brands with audiences. We have a beautifully formed Eventful, which is our little sister agency that specializes in more venue search and incentive travel, and probably the different part of the events market, which complements us very well. Top level, our vision hasn't changed since we last spoke to you. Our strategy is to continue to grow, strengthen our position in the markets, expansion globally, but the US, as we have said, and Europe is very strong for us, but US is a big piece of that pie. Culture, very important to attract the right talent and be an agency of choice for our employees and our consultants, and continue to grow, obviously. And that is by maintaining a great client base and building on that with our strategic and long-term relationships that we are building. Interims Snapshot. We did report and indicated actually in November that we had a lot of work shifting to our second half. So we made a loss in our first half in H1, and H2 forecasts we're looking at about 650 profit for the second half. So overall, revenues around going to be 90 million plus. We're predicting, and we're forecasting profits no less than 400,000, shall I say. And we've got still 2 months left in the year. Not as good as last year, but still strong. But we've had a lot of investment and a lot going on. I'll give you some indications where we're going. And here's kind of our growth chart, which continues hopefully to go in an upward direction going forward. It's worth kind of pointing out some of the headlines that impacted kind of our latest interims. We are investing heavily in the firm. So we're investing and growing and still making profits. That does also impact your bottom line, particularly in the US. There was a lot of disruption, if you look at the headlines here, in one of our client bases and one of our verticals is the tech market and professional services. If you remember at the end of last year, lots of redundancies and layoffs and restructuring. That impacted us, not from losing work, but delays in their decision making and reforming of their marketing divisions, which we have seen that finish now, and hence why a lot of our work moved into our second half. And the sort of bigger relevant point is that about £2 million worth of contracted work has moved into our next financial year. And that's really what the difference is in our revenue going forward. We're also seeing a bit of a trend back to normal. I know everyone talks about post-COVID, but the echoes of COVID are still echo, but we are seeing a seasonality coming back to kind of the events we're working on, and more settled tempo and work coming forward, which will help us plan better for next year. Headlines, delighted to say that pipeline for 2025 is still strong. We are, as I say, returning back to kind of pre-pandemic patterns, and I'll explain a little bit more what that means. Our investment in our account team is helping us grow our business strongly. We have maintained and added new clients. We haven't lost any clients, which is quite key to get that point across. And the USA is growing. Current planning is that we are seeing the benefits of our recent investments. We are set up for growth, and there will be fewer one-off costs that we've incurred in the last 12, 24 months, which should be good news for our shareholders. And just to remind everybody that actually typically our first half is weaker than our second half, and this is kind of a split. H1 is about 1/3 of our revenue. H2 is 2/3, of which 1/3 of it is in June, which is around our can activations and our end of year activation for some of our other brands. So how things stand, we've got cash in the bank on the 25th of March, 3.7 million. We're still going to pay dividends. Our reputation continues to grow. We're adapting. You know, it's an ever-moving kind of fluid running an agency to do with client demands and tempo and changing direction. We're doing that. Our pipeline is strong. Our relationships are actually stronger than ever, very sticky with clients. And as I said, our momentum will continue going forward for next financial year 2025. Just a reminder, we work in a very big pool of revenue. This is actually from 2022. This has grown. So in the UK industry, our event sector is about 42 billion. We reckon the US is 103 billion. That's predicted to be 800 billion global industry. That's predicted to grow actually by 20% in the next 5 years. For this presentation, a little bit of focus on our B2E as well. A lot of our kind of high profile work and work we can show is in our B2B, but B2E is a big part of our business, and we can't really show as much work because a lot of the work we do is confidential. And for the jargon, B2B is actually brands or organizations talking to their own staff, so big management conferences, big partner conferences, all hands. But we're seeing that regularity coming back again, which is great, which we can plan better. But just interesting to see our split of work. It accounts about 40% of our work and 30% of our client base. And then on the B2B side, everyone kind of knows, who knows as well, the Stag Rolls and the Can Lions of this world is a 60% of work. So it's a nice split, and they're very different revenue streams. So take that as comfort, as in we're not reliant on also, you know, one particular type of business, which is good for us. And we're coming to the fact it's going to be our busiest year in Lions. I was going to run a video, just give you a bit of flavour for some of the other kind of B2E stuff. If you can run the video, Ali, please go ahead. Thank you. So it gives you a little sprinkling. Here's some images. Again, a lot of our work is very confidential, so these are renders, but it gives you an idea of another part of the business that we haven't actually showcased that much, which is the conference and the B2E side, which is very key to us. So as I said, Can Lions is our busiest year yet. We've actually got 14 activations in Lions this year, which is an increase from last year. And as we announced earlier in the week on an RNS announcement, we reappointed Stagwell Beach, which is fantastic, which is one of the best activations. We're going back bigger and better, and we have an amazing relationship with Stagwell and team, the supporting agency. I shall run the video again, just as a reminder. So we're going to, this is 2023, and we'll hopefully show you next 2024, next time we meet. So run BT3, please.
never lose, cause we got it right now. Push you in the face with a score right now. You don't like the way it is, come and see me, you a clown. Ready right now? 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 Ready right now?
Fantastic. As I said before, one of the biggest activations last year, hugely successful. We're gaining so much currency and kudos in the industry, and again, we're coming back bigger and better for the Stagwell team. So we look forward to that. I also wanted to show you kind of another Can Accounts project that doesn't necessarily need to be the biggest or the showiest, but it's clever and really creative. This is where we work with a brand that wanted to create, for a impact in a different way, and we took over a shop. It was actually a shop that had been shut, and we created a pop-up experience for our client Triple Lift. We did some guerrilla activities. I just want to show you another end of the spectrum of the different sort of size and shape of the events we do, and this is what we did last year again in Cannes Lions. If you can run VTO4, I'll give you an idea. It's another great activation. As I say, we took over a shop and created this whole immersive experience for our clients. Huge amount of marketing traction, delighted. We're looking forward to, again, working with them again this year. And just touching on our tentpole kind of strategy, which I have discussed before. And then for those who don't know what a tentpole is, these are big annual events that happen globally where a lot of our brands go. Cannes Lions, for example, is a big tentpole event. And here's a selection of other tentpole events which we're targeting, but I'm delighted to say that we are going to the UNGR activation next year. We are working in CES. We're doing 2 activations in AEOREMA in May. We've done our first activation in Art Basel. We're going to Mexico. I'm going to show you a case issue later on Climate Week, and we'll work on West. So we are doing what we say we're going to do. We are targeting these events, these activations, these tentpoles, and actually delivering some great activations there. South by Southwest and Possible. Possible is quite a new activation we're targeting, and South by Southwest, the team and I flew over 4 weeks ago to Austin. We had about 15 client meetings. On the back of that, we've created a whole white paper that we're using ourselves as a marketing tool. Just shows you we're getting a lot of traction there. Again, one of many streams for the business, but something we're focusing on. And again, our global footprint expands. Japan was quite interesting. Great place to be. Share another event. So, talking about the American experience and the American side, Climate Week is a massive event that held in New York. We've been commissioned again to do that again for next year. This is the event we did last year. As it says, Climate Week, the biggest kind of get-together of activists and high-level profile government representatives to talk about climate change. Great for us to win the work, great for our kind of D&I policy to kind of support this. I will show you a video. It was over 3 days. We had 6,000 delegates, and we had over 584 event sessions. Quite a huge undertaking, and credit to my team for delivering that. I'll run the video. Also to say, this is a video that we shot with our team and edited in our studio, because we also have a big moving image division, but I'll show you some of our work. VT5, please, thank you.
The Earth's delicate balance is shifting. It's more critical than ever to come together and discuss our future. New York City is where people go to be heard.
We demand a change.
Climate Week is the largest annual gathering of its kind, where climate action takes center stage. Scientists, policymakers, activists, and everyday citizens come face to face with the most pressing environmental issues of our time.
We all gonna be defeated by our Mother Earth.
The city of New York plays host to the conversations that matter, speeding up progress and championing change.
How are we going to avoid tragedy?
More than 584 events tackle everything from agriculture and the impact on indigenous communities to eco-anxiety and fighting misinformation. More than 6,000 people connect with decision makers to unpack and address climate concerns in real time.
I've had enough, and I'm sick and tired of this.
And those not in Manhattan could watch and interact from anywhere in the world. Global events like Climate Week keep environmental action at the very top of the international political agenda and helps foster discussion at grassroots level.
You know what to do.
We all have a part to play in enacting urgent change for our people and planet.
Friends, we can, we will.
Wonderful. Delighted to be part of that, to support that. So I'm very proud to be back again next year. Incidentally, the voiceover artist is actually one of our team in New York, so we are multi-talented, certainly in our office. And here's some visuals and that. Huge logistical exercise. You can imagine 6,000 guests over 5 days. Then we win loads of awards, yay! And then these are our freshest ones, and these are big awards, particularly the Drum Award, which we won about 3 months ago. Huge recognition, that's a global award. On the right, Creative Team of the Year for 6 years in a row, unheard of, but obviously if you guys are following up RNS release, we won our first big award in America. So one, brilliant to win that. Two, it's a hugely recognized award in America. And third, more importantly, that just shows we're getting traction there and getting recognition there. The mission is always for the American agency to grow, have its own kind of entity and persona, and that's going great guns. And this just cements us in that world. And I'm very proud to win that on behalf of Stagwell and team and myself. And let's not forget Eventful, who's our little sister agency, who specialise in incentive travel and venue search. Came out of COVID gangbusters. COVID had a big impact on them, but coming out, they're really strong. Delighted to say that the collaboration and the cross-selling between the business is really strong and healthy and keeps increasing. We are finding business for them, they're finding business for us. They're increasing the percentage of fee-based business. Traditionally, they worked on a commission basis, which they're working on, but they're actually adding a fee base, and the result of that is they've actually hired 2 more team and continue to complement our profit on the bottom line. So, just in summary, our H1 2024, I'm really not a clear picture of our growth evolution. It was caused really by retiming of events and contracted work. I hope you can understand that. We just see it as a bump in the road. Sticky clients and growing reputation in the US particularly is great. We're appointed by a lot of our marquee clients to do the same and more. Partner of choice for many of our brands, winning awards, I've just said, and entering new markets such as South by Southwest and CES and OMI, etc. Financially buoyant, as I say, cash in the bank is strong. Seeing the benefit of our recent investments, set up a future growth. Fewer one-off costs. You know, we've already invested in IT, we've invested in consultancy. That is a one-off cost that won't happen again. Maintaining our dividend policy and strong outlook, and expecting a strong remainder for the rest of the year. So, and on the slide again, the investment case: profitable, growing, cash positive, dividend paying, great team, market leading, win loads of awards, and net zero by 2030. So there's a snapshot of us. I will go to questions now. How do I escape from this? Go.
Perfect, Steve. Thank you very much for your presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, please do continue to submit your questions just by using the Q&A tab, which is situated on the top right-hand corner of your screen. Just while Steve takes a few moments to read the questions that have been submitted today, I'd like to remind you that a recording of this presentation, along with a copy of the slides and the published Q&A, can be accessed via your investor dashboard. As you can see, we have received questions throughout today's presentation, and Steve, if I could just hand back to you just to read out those questions and give responses where it's appropriate to do so, I'll pick up from you at the end.
Okay, so let me look at a question. There's a good question. It's been asked actually by shareholders in the past. Admin costs have gone up significantly. Why is that? I actually wouldn't say they've gone up significantly. I think there's been a comparison with 21, which is the year of COVID, where our admin costs were around 500,000, and our admin costs are just under 2 million now. That's gone up in line with our revenue. So when we were turning about 5 million, our admin costs were around 10%, and now we're doing 20 million, they're still about 9 or 10%. So I'd say they've gone up in relation to our revenue and our investment. So they're not unusual, in our opinion. How's the USA going? Do you see that as being the main focus of business in a few years' time? US is going great. As you can see, winning an award, getting more American-based clients. It is our major investment. You know, we are setting up, growing a team there, office space in the Rockefeller Center, marketing, and a lot of our energy is going to develop that. We see that as a very successful future for us. There's also a halo effect of being in America, that we're getting a lot of American clients working in Europe. If you actually analyze a lot of our clients that we're doing already in the European operations, they're actually American based. That's going great. An interesting question. Stagwell, a large and acquisitive company, AEOREMA currently valued at 6 million. What price, if any, would you consider as a tempting offer for the company? I can't say. I can't say. Interesting, and everyone's for sale, Michael. So watch this space. I think if someone made an offer that was beneficial for all the shareholders and a benefit for the future of the business, then we consider that. You make a big point about getting to net zero by 2030. Why is that important to the company? I've said it before and I say it again. All global brands and organizations, and any brands that we want to work with, more importantly, will put the D&I policy, your CSR policy, first is in selecting an agency to work with. And we have to match their brand values. So it's hugely important to us on a commercial level. More importantly, from a personal brand value level, it's important to my team and how we operate. So that's why there's a lot of investments gone into that. It is a business function. You cannot ignore that. Not to say it's a business advantage. If you don't have it, you'll be at a disadvantage. So I think it's very key for us. And in this day and age, the planet and how we operate and how we look after our staff and how we work in the world is more important than ever. And that is why we drive that. And that's why we value it so much. And it comes at the top. Here's an interesting one. How will AI impact your business in the future? Good one. Well, it's already impacting the business. We've been using AI for the last couple of years. We see it as a great tool and enabler. We're becoming quite experts in it. It helps the creative team. From our point of view, it's a plus. So it does make things more efficient. It changes by the month how it impacts, but it's been a great tool for ideation and creating stuff at certain levels. We don't see it replacing the human creativity, and until they change the fact that you need to see someone eye to eye in a meeting room, we hope the live experience won't be impacted by that, but we'll certainly ride that wave. And accordingly, we have an internal, if you don't know, but we have an internal R&D department that kind of specializes in future trends, and AI being one of their subjects, and we have a steering group around that. Can you explain when you mean delays and changing trends have impacted the current financial year? Are the delays just relevant to the current financial year, or is it likely to impact financial year 2025? Or is it a long-term trend? Okay, the bigger answer to that is that, and again, as a milestone for the industries, particularly live, was COVID. Coming out of COVID, post-COVID, it was crazy. And there was no rhyme or reason or tempo or sequence to events. Everyone was catching up. What we are seeing now is a return to the normal cycle of stuff, which means we can help plan for that. So that is just coming back to normal. There was obviously disruption, particularly in the ad tech sector in the last year, beginning of this year. We see that ending. So we know that the schedule on diary and dates of events is kind of getting back to kind of what we normally expect. So we're seeing, that being able to easier plan for resourcing within the business, and obviously kind of schedule kind of how we deliver these events. At this stage, do you envisage an increase in dividend again this year? Well, we said we're going to have a dividend. We'll review that. There's just as many shareholders who basically say don't have a dividend because you'd rather invest in us. But we intend to give a dividend out, and we'll analyze that, and that'll be subject to kind of how our planning goes for the investment in the business. Given your emphasis on adaptability and forward planning, what strategies are you undertaking to maintain your competitive edge? Good question. You never stand still in this business. You have to be constantly one step ahead. I think we were one step ahead of most agencies coming out of COVID, and we continue to do that. But specifically, we are actually going through a refocus and a little bit of a rebrand internally about our proposition to take it to the next level. There will be probably another investor show in June, which we will share that with the wider audience. But we're looking at actually how we can maintain that competitive edge. That is the lifeblood of every agency. Obviously, winning awards and credibility and that kind of emphasizing that and keeping the best talent keeps us going forward. I've got any more questions? Is that everything? It's the last question. Colin C. How do you assess the impact of your future strategic investments and future growth opportunities? Simply put, bottom line, profit, ultimately. There's a certain amount of certain KPIs we have within the business, but ultimately we want to be a profitable, growing business, and that's ultimately how we measure stuff. Winning awards is nice. Delivering shareholder value back is more important. The health of the business, maintaining our cash, and it's constantly assessed. We have quite a robust marketing and measurement tool internally that assesses where we're going in the business. And that kind of touches on everything to do with market positioning. Obviously, clients we won, and then we do quite a lot of development with our clients on feedback as well. Hopefully, I answered that question.
Perfect, Steve. I might just jump in there. Thank you very much for answering all of those questions from investors. And of course, the company can review all the questions submitted today and will publish those responses on the Investor Meet Company platform. But just before redirecting investors, provide you with their feedback, which is particularly important to yourself and the company. Steve, could I just ask you for a few closing comments?
Look, great to present back. Really good to give you some colour. I know we've had conversations with some of our investors based on our interims. I think the view is obviously it really is a bump in the road. We haven't lost any business. It's just diaries moving, which we can't control that. If we had lost work and the business had gone down, that'd be a different conversation. It is not that. The investment continues to grow in the business. America's getting traction, and we're still going gangbusters. We're going to have our busiest time ever in this May and June, which is a great end to the year. And if you look at a like-for-like profit for our second half, we're probably going to be the same, if not better than last year. So it's going, from our point of view, great, and we'll continue to do that. We'll continue to communicate to the wider audience. I still think we're undervalued, and we will continue to kind of increase our share price. We'll speak to you later. Thank you for that.
Perfect, Steve. Thank you once again for updating investors today. Could I please ask investors not to close this session, as you'll now be automatically redirected to provide your feedback in order that the management team can better understand your views and expectations. This will then take a few moments to complete, but I'm sure will be greatly valued by Steve and the company. On behalf of the management team of AEOREMA Communications PLC, we'd like to thank you for attending today's presentation, and good afternoon to you all.